Hi guys, Belle here, and it is day 9 of Hashtag Creep on June. The ephemera base in the digital kit for day 9 is this beautiful tag, which I want to work with, and I kind of want to make it into a double tuck spot with a sort of extra writing space hidden in the front, or not so much hidden, but at the front. So sounds more complicated than it realistically is. So I've got the double tag, but I actually need a back tag. So I took one of the digital papers that I thought worked quite well with these colorings, and I've just cut it sort of to size. I'm obviously going to need to trim the top a bit more. I need to work out which way I want to use it as well. And we're going to turn these into our tags. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this, because we're also going to make the tag for the back. There. So, okay, that's basically folded. And I'm going to trim these little tag corners. And then I am going to, this is a tad bigger, but that's okay because I can trim it down. I'm going to, which way do I want? I think I want it that way. I'm just going to put a line across the top here, so that we can trim that to size, if I can see it. Wouldn't it be easier to put it on the white bit? Yes. There's that lovely little scrap left. Okay, and this is going to be backed onto some black card because I need this back piece sturdier. This will be sturdier because I've printed out the actual ephemera on a slightly thicker cardstock than this. You can see this is much softer than this. And 2, this is going to have quite thick tea-dyed paper in it, whereas this isn't. So I need to then back this on to here. Let's just do that. Make sure I get a generous amount. I will be stitching around this, but I still want a generous amount of glue on here. Put that across there. The digital papers, a lot of them match the ephemera pieces, but because the ephemera, I think the print on the ephemera piece has been scaled down, like the digital paper for this, if I could find it, here it is, you'll see that the roses are much bigger. So I could scale that down on to print it out, but I just thought it would be easier if I just printed off, if I just used a piece that kind of matches the front style, but hasn't got images that are so much bigger. So yeah, that is definitely going to need a bit more trimming. I did not cut that at all straight. So let's try that again. Will this fit in my mini thing? It will. Good. I can always trim that off with scissors, but I might as well use this. Okay. And whilst I'm at it, no, that's okay, because I'm going to put some paper in there. And I want it this way, so I'm going to cut it this way so that it's got the tag top too, to absolutely make sure that that is to the edge. Still needs a bit of trimming, but that is okay. Okay. Good, 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 good. That is that. So that will go on the back of here like so. So we are going to have a tuck spot in here. Did I want a double tag? And a tuck spot in here. Thought there was going to be another one too. That's okay. All right then. It would have been another one if I'd had two tags together. Yeah. But that's okay. This will work. So now I'm going to, I've got a thicker paper here. So it's not as thin as like this, as you can see. It's much thicker. It's more like tea-dyed card, but not quite as thick as that. And it's slightly grungy. So I am going to glue this onto here. Again, I am going to be stitching around, but especially in this middle bit, I want it glued. Now, I was also going to add a magnet, and this is where I'm going to have to add the magnet, but I'm going to have to be careful with the magnets because I don't want to stitch on them. Thinking about it, I could actually add the magnet to the back. So I'll add one to the front and then I'll add one to the back. You'll see what I mean in a minute. You're probably thinking, what are you saying? No, it's okay. So this is going to go here. Again, you don't have to add a magnet if you don't want to. There's other things you can use, but I like using magnets. So I have my little magnet. I'm just going to add one kind of on the inside. So you're seeing I'm putting it a lot further over because when I stitch around this, I do not in any situation want my magnet to hit my needle, because it will break the needle and that could fly off. It could break my sewing machine. It could hurt me. I need to make sure I haven't moved that magnet. Moved it over a tad. Okay. Could hurt one of my cats. No. So just make sure you've got enough room, especially as I might be doing a zigzag stitch all the way around this for your stitching. Okay then, and let's just get rid of this paper. And here. And whilst that's drying a little bit, we're going to get on with a little piece of decoration. So the images that I have picked to put on the front of this tag are these. I mean, come on. They're just brilliant. So that's what we're going to do. First, I want to emboss around the frame. I want the brown that's already on the frames to be there. So I'm going to use a clear embossing powder, which works best for me. And because these are on the frames, I am going to use my Tim Holtz embossing pens and just go around these like so. I'm hoping this one's still got some embossing in it. because I've had that one a long while. If it hasn't, that's okay, because I have, gosh, I'm almost out of my clear embossing powder. I have another embossing pen as a backup. Oh no, that worked quite well. Okay, let's do Mr. Grumpy Pants. I'm feeling like these are a married couple that have been together quite a while. They look like they're either a couple who's fallen on hard times, or they're the housekeeper and the gardener for the big fancy house. But I feel like, why would anyone, well, I suppose in their house they'd have a picture of themselves, wouldn't they? Great. So I'm going to just put this away so it doesn't blow everywhere when I turn my heat tool on. So because my heat tool makes so much noise, guys, I'm going to do that off camera. But yeah, just use your heat gun or your heat tool to emboss. Okay, so those are embossed. You can just kind of see that there, like so. And before I do anything else to them, firstly, I just want to rough up the edges a little bit. I know they're photo frames, but they can get chipped and damaged over the years, especially if they're sitting on a grungy, yucky wall. So that's that. And then I'm going to add some of this Walnut Stain Distress Oxide. And I'm also, whilst we're waiting for that, I've got this and this clock face that I may or may not use, but whilst we're here, I'm going to get some crackle paste and use it on these 3 pieces. So I'm using the Tim Holtz Distress Crackle Paste. Love this stuff. So yeah. Oh, do you know what I haven't used yet? I haven't used his grit paste on any of these projects, and I love that. The grit paste, the Halloween crypt paste, the crypt grit paste as it is, my gosh, that's a mouthful, is one of my favorite products that he's done. Hold on, guys. Okay, guys, sorry about that. Someone just called, and whilst I was on the phone call, which only lasted a minute, I actually used the crackle paste. If you've seen any of my other videos, you've seen me use it a couple of times anyway. But I've just put the crackle paste over the front of the images where the glass would be, because I'm not going to over decorate too much on the front of this tag. So I'm going to put those aside to dry. Okay, so I've put those aside to dry, and we're going to work on this tag front. Now, I want to fold this in half, and because it's quite thick, so I'm just moving bits, I think I'm going to use my scoreboard to do this. If you haven't got one, doesn't matter, you don't need one. You could just fold it over. I'm trying to find one where it's going to actually, let's put it against the flat side first, Belle. It'll work better. You could just use a metal ruler and a bone folder to do this exact same job. But I've had this scoreboard a while. I don't actually like it because the measurements aren't the ones I wanted. I didn't look at it very carefully before purchasing it. Please do that. But I've got it and I just want to use it. So I'm going to fold that over. It makes the folding so much easier. I'm going to burnish that down. Nice. And then we're going to trim the tops of this like so. Now I'm just going to trim the side because there's a slight overlap and I don't want one. I want it to be straight, and then we'll be able to do the other tag. And again, needed a bit of force there because it's thicker. So I'm going to do that, making sure, yeah, the magnet's on that side. Just going to ink the edges here with some walnut stain. One of the things I'm really enjoying about this challenge is, I might as well call it the Creep on June 24 Flippy Flappy Hidden Writing Spot Challenge, because I'm really enjoying just playing around with adding lots of different things that open or that you can put things in. I like those in journals anyway. I just like interactive pieces, guys. I like just normal pieces too. I mean, there's a time and place for everything, don't you think? But with this one, because of the creepy house, my sister once told me that when she saw my sort of pieces that open and close that you don't always know they're there, it reminded her of like hidden passageways in a house. So as this is kind of gothic and things, I think that actually works really well. Do you not think? I also thought that was a great description that she said. So yeah, I like to put things that surprise people. I need this side really glued, really done. Okay, so that definitely needs to be trimmed, but I can do that once it's glued on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually stitch. I'm trying to work out how to do this. Okay, so I'm going to stitch down here and then down this side, and then they're going to be glued together, and then I'm just going to stitch around these edges, which means these will still have stitching on them, but they'll remain. No, I can't do that. What am I talking about? Rewind. Let's think that through again. All I need to do is stitch around this and stitch around this base. Why am I making things more difficult, guys? I'm going to go do that. Actually, I realised before I actually do the stitching, honestly, I think the phone call maybe sort of whoop. Okay, so I have this digital that I've printed out on some tea stained paper, and I want this to kind of take up half of the front of this tag. Let's get back into what I'm actually doing. Okay, so I'm inking this up, even though this edge may be covered slightly, but you never know, so it's always best to ink. And I'm going to glue this roughly halfway on this tag. So I'm just going to glue this edge and then roughly halfway, because I can always trim some off, like so. And then once this is on and another little piece, then I can actually stitch. Oh dear. It just seems to be constant interruptions the last couple of days. But I am trying to film a video for every day, which makes it that I'm filming a lot more than I usually do, because I normally like to do 3 videos a week of some sort, sometimes 2. but 3 videos a week I try and aim for when possible. And at the moment I'm doing a video every day, so it's just trying to find the time to do that, which means I'm filming at times I don't sometimes film at, which just means, oh, love that on there, that sometimes I'm not, I get interrupted. So I also have some of this sari silk, and I want to put this down the middle. Now, realistically, I want to glue it, but I was thinking, if I have it on here when I'm stitching, I can stitch the top and bottom on here, because I don't want the middle stitch, because that'll come through the other side. So that's what I'm thinking. I may even have a bit come up the top. So yeah, so I'm just going to stitch around the outside of here, just on the one side, just on the front side, and hold this sari silk in place. So the middle won't be stitched, but we don't need that stitched. And then I'm also going to stitch, as I said, around the back of this one, and I will be back. I am actually going to stitch this time. Okay guys, so you can see I've stitched around the front, and I've done double stitching here, which I like. I just like that effect. And then I've stitched around this, just looking. Now we've got a magnet here, so what I need to do is I need to attach another magnet for that magnet to actually hold to. So let's, right, 2 magnets there, don't need 2. Okay, they just flew off. That's okay, I can find them quite easily. Right, and what I need to do is close this up, and we can see that the magnet goes there. So I need to put a bit of glue on this. And then let it just set itself. Now, as this is going, there's stuff going in and out of here. I want to add some washi to it. Where's the end of this black bat washi? I mean, you're not going to see the washi, so it doesn't actually have to what's the word I'm looking for, guys? It doesn't actually, I'm going to use some of this, match. Match. Come on, Belle. I'm going to add some washi, because we're going to be, as I said, putting a tag in and out of here. So I want that magnet to stay in place and not catch. So I'm also putting glue onto the washi so that it really sticks down, and really, really press it down. Like so. Really pressing that down, and now it's attached. And then this is going to go on the back of here, and I'm just thinking I can actually stitch this on. I know I've already stitched around the outside, but actually I can stitch this on just here, which is what I need, and then I can trim that. Okay, I'm going to do that, guys. I'm going to stitch this on 3 sides, leaving this bit open, and I will be back. Okay, so if I'd thought about that, I could have done that the first time without actually doing it again. And you can see it doesn't quite match up there, so I'm just going to trim that off. Like so. Perfect. Okay. And we can ink that. Now it's cut away some of the stitches on the back, but I don't mind that either. Just adds to the grunge. We're not decorating the back in any way, so that's good. Just cut that down a little bit. I want some of it, not all of it. Okay, guys. So let's work on the inside bit. So I have some of this beautiful paper. And I want this to go into this pocket. So I need it to be small enough that it's going to fit in without getting caught on any of those stitches. So that should be good. So let me trim that. Because you want to leave spaces when you've got stitched like this, stitch pieces like this, because that is it, isn't it? Yeah. Where you've stitched, it's going to be quite tight to get something in and out of, which is why I like to use either my bone folder or like one of my palette knives to kind of just go in, press around those edges and open that a little bit. And we're going to round the edges because, again, rounding the edges of things helps them move in and out of spaces easier. But I'm only actually going to round those two edges. I'm not going to round the whole thing. Okay, now I'm hoping that's going to fit in. So let's try that, shall we? Oh, yes, lovely. And it's so beautiful. I could have used another index card, but this tag's already quite thick because of all the layers. And also I just thought this was beautiful. So it gives you writing space, but it's also got that beautiful grunginess. That also picks up some of the pattern. Like, it kind of gives me this feel on the back of the card. I don't know. I will say, if you are watching all my videos, you've probably noticed that I use a lot of the same papers or products, and that's because I like having things match. So I enjoy just picking a set of things that I want to work with and then just making all the ephemera pieces with those. Now that is going to go there. And what we have to decide is what tab we want to use. So I've got this one, which would work great. I've got one with some script on, which would also work great because it picks up the black. I've also cut some out of my kind of faux leather effect. And you know what? I think I want that. I think I do. Because it kind of matches this stuff too. And I think I'm going to have it nearer the bottom. Now I could stitch along there as well. Come on, glue. Did I not put my lid back on properly? That should do it. There we go. Aha! It is working. Okay, and I'm just going to put that there. I'm already having ideas of how I can make this into even more pockets, because why not? Why just have one pocket when you can have more? And I had intended it to have 2 pockets. So I'm going to have to rethink that in my head. So that is going to pop in there for your hidden extra journaling space. I mean, I could just put some lace on there, couldn't I? Could have just done that. I mean, it's not that hidden because you can see a tab, but you get what I'm saying. So that's in there. That closes up. And then you're going to have, well, if I stop throwing it around, all this extra journaling space. Now we need to finish off decorating the front. So I have my little splodge. That's the only way I can describe it. A It's an old stamp set I've got. I don't even know where I got it from. And I want to add some VersaFine Sepia, because I like adding this because it gives it the kind of effect that pages are foxed. You know, that they've been there a long time. And I just love the effect of that. I really, really do. I'm also going to add some over here to carry it across. And we could probably add some on the back. Why not? We've got the stamp out. Let's just add some more detail. Perfect. I just love that so much. It's such a simple stamp, but I think it just adds so much to it. And then I don't think my pieces are dry. Let me have a look. No, they're not completely dried yet. The lady's more dry than the gentleman. And they kind of go on the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave those to dry a bit longer, and then we will be back to finish up the tag. Hi guys, so these have dried now. Look at that scrumminess. Ooh, love it. Gotta love some crackle paste. We've still got a little bit of white here because I think I put quite a bit on there, but that doesn't bother me. So we've got this. Oh, look at her face. Honestly, guys, they look like a couple, don't they? We are going to put these on the front. Now, I'm thinking I'm going to use some 3D foam to kind of pop them up because of the ribbon underneath isn't stitched flat. I think this is going to be the best way. I might even have to double the foam. Let's see how this is with just these, and then I'll make a decision if I'm going to double it. Aha. Yeah. I love that crackle glaze, honestly, guys. I mean, I can use alcohol inks. Do you know what? I think one lot of it's fine. I don't need to double them up and do two. Don't want it too near the edge because these are white. You can get black, and to be honest, I can use my Sharpie to just go around and darken those edges. I'll show you what I mean. Just in case you're a newbie. Once I find my Sharpie, that is. Hold on, guys. Okay, why can't I find my Sharpie? It was hiding. But so we've got something like this. And you can just kind of go round the edge to darken it a little bit. It's probably easier before you actually stick them on. So you can just kind of go around like that, and it makes it not so white. I mean, to be honest, I don't think it's the problem with this, but I've done it now on that one. So my brain tells me I need to do it on the others. And we got to listen to our crafty brains. Okay, but I'm only doing it on him. And now if we take the backing off this. Honestly, I do love that crackle glaze. And if you use inks and alcohol inks, you can get some amazing results with it. But I just like it as is as well. Now I'm going to put these down as an angle, which, let's all face it, is not my favourite way. I like things to be straight. Oh, I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at it now. And I know, Priscilla, if you're watching this, you're going to laugh again. I wanted them at an angle, but I don't know. So they're not. They're not coming at an angle. You can't really see too much of the white there anyway, so it's not a problem. Don't laugh at me, guys. I can't help it. Me and angles. I just like things to be a bit more like that. And I don't think that needs much more on front. I mean, we've got some bats. I could add a bat, couldn't I? Oh, I do like that bat there. Hear me going, we don't need much more on front. And then what do? I add a bat. Have I got another smaller, tiny one of those. I do have one. Aha! Excellent. Right. Because I think, there we go. That's what we're going to leave it as. No, we're not. We're going to add a bat. Yes. Let's just add that. That is going to take a while to glue and stick on there because it's going on top of embossing powder. And this is like an acetate. Ugh, my bat's all dirty now. It's all right. It'll dry. It'll be fine. Almost wish I'd put it in her hair. So there we go. So that's what the front's going to look like. And now we're going to quickly do a little bit of decoration on the inside. I've got this or this and a piece of Tim Holtz. And I thought it kind of worked because they look like they are in this house. It looks like a letter they might have written themselves, some wallpaper in their house. You know, the rose here picks up the roses on there. Also got the cup. So I could kind of chop half the cup off and we've got this rose. I don't know where I want to put it. Don't know. I feel like it might work better over here. We do have the clock. Let's see if I've got the clock the right way up, shall we? Yes, I have. Imagine putting the clock on upside down. That would be funny. I think the clock works better. Makes me think about time. I also wanted to show you a technique. So if you haven't got like really grungy tea dyed paper, one thing that I like to do is I like using tea bags. And these are so simple, guys, honestly. You just, if you drink tea, I mean, even if you don't, you could buy a cheapish bag of tea bags. And you could, what's it called? You just put them in some hot water as you would with your tea. And let them sit for a while. And then once you've pulled them out and let them dry, pull your tea bag apart and you get this lovely effect. Now, I don't drink anything with caffeine. So this tea bag is actually just from a mint tea because I only drink herbal teas. And yeah, it's still beautifully grungy. I have found that with my tea bags, if I leave them to soak for a while, and then I kind of let them partially dry and then dry them in, dry the rest of it in the under a grill or in the oven or whatever, I tend to get a deeper imprint of the tea. But you can just leave them to air dry. But I love using tea bags on my projects. I haven't used any yet. And when I was getting bits for this project, I suddenly thought, oh, let's use a tea bag. And it just shows you, if you haven't got really grungy paper, but you want more grunge, obviously you can use inks, you can use sprays, you can use stamps, but there's also this way to add just a little bit of texture as well as a little bit of grungy yumminess to your project. I like to stick mine on with Mod Podge, but I will be honest, you can also glue it on. I just like to use Mod Podge because it tends to stick it all down, and I know that it's going to stay in place. And then you can write over it as well. I mean, just look at that grunge, guys, honestly. It's delicious. And I'm wondering if I just want to put a little bit over here, because we're going to have the clock and the rose here. I don't think it needs it. I don't think it, oh, but I just want to use it. This is when it's like, less is more. No, more there's more. I feel like that'll go down there. Yes. Okay, let's just do that. Let's put that one down here. So it's just like decoupaging a napkin or any other sort of parchment papers, tissue paper. It's just like that. But you can just see how grungy it adds, how much texture and yumminess it adds to the piece. So whilst that's drying slightly, I am going to glue this on, because even though that white's there, it's actually dry. It's just taking longer to dry because I put more crackle paste there than in the other spaces. And I really need to think about where this rose is going to go. Yeah. Couple on the front. Where does time go? They're saying. We're sitting here in our house. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. I feel like there's white edges on this, so I'm going to just use some ink to darken it and grunge it up a little bit. There's that word again. That's going to go like that. Or is it going to go more over here? Yeah, okay, like that. Sorry, placement, honestly. I can really take a long time to decide where something's going, which is always the challenge of doing things on cameras, guys, because I have to make decisions quicker than I might normally do. And I'm just going to come on and use some of this again, this little stamp with like the foxing effect, and even that can go over the tea bag. I want it down there, I think, because there's not a lot. There's that little space. Why is that not picking up? Okay. Okay. Excellente. Now let's trim this. Now again, I could have put this on before I did the stitching, but I hadn't decided if I was going to use it or not. So if you like this, it's really good to do it before the stitching, because you can still, once it's completely dry, stitch over the top of it. But I can still see the stitching through it. And now I'm going to ink the top of it too. Ink, you say? That's a surprise. You never do that. Oh my gosh. Some of us just like to ink a lot. I know not everyone does. But I don't know. It just never looks finished to me unless it's inked. It's just one of those things. Everyone has something they like to do when they're crafting. And a lot of us like inking, guys. And not just inking once if you come to this channel, but possibly twice. Oh dear me. Oh, I just love that. Once that dries, those bubbles will go flat as well. But already you can see, just especially down here, look at it. Look at the sort of effect that it gives you. Okay, guys, so I'm going to call this tag finished. So this is day 9. So we have what looks like a normal tag that's okay decorated. We've got the back. I could put some tea dyed paper there if I wanted to. Got all this lovely glaze and crackle paste, and some stamping, some sari silk, and some bats. Loving the bats. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then we open it up and you've got all this gorgeous writing space and some more crackle paste on the clock. Oh, just love it. Look at that tea bag. Just look how grungy it is. And then here at the back, we've got a little tuck spot with more writing space, guys. I really, really want to make a double tuck spot tag now. So you may see that coming this month as well. But there we go. What do you think? I really like that one. I haven't added any words to it. It actually feels like it's not as grungy as the other pieces that I've been doing. I don't know why. Maybe it needs more up here. Maybe it does. Hold on a minute. Okay, because I wanted a bit more grunginess, what I did was I used some of that net that I've used in other projects. I'm just going to tear it a little bit. I've stitched it on here. And then I went and got myself some of the dyed Kinda cheesecloth that I've been using. This is a slightly different one. This is more of a net that I have. I really want to grunge that up. Right, that's better. I feel like it's grungier now. I like it better. How to really add that finishing touch to your tag. Get some fabric, tear it into shreds, and there we go. So that's it, guys. That's day 9's project. I really hope you liked this one. I do like how it's all come together and all the writing space. As I said, if you haven't got a magnet, you can use a Velcro dot. If you don't have one of them, add like a Tim Holtz paper clip or a normal paper clip or a clamp or whatever. Tie some ribbon around it. That could go underneath and be tied here. That'd look really nice. There's lots of other ways you can do it if you don't have magnets. That's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back soon with another video. Until next time, guys, I hope you are having a lots and lots of crafty fun. Bye for now.